sure quite a few of you have probably seen this video. Take a minute to review and we'll discuss.
I don't understand how people overcome poverty in America. I really don't. I've been working since I was 16 years old. Helped pay my parents' mortgage when I was still in high school. I'm 32 years old now. I don't even have a mortgage. I don't have kids. I don't have anything to show for all this time that I've paid into the system. I went to college. I have a bachelor's degree. My parents never graduated college. My parents didn't even graduate high school. I'm already on my second bachelor's degree, hoping that this one sticks. I was paying for nursing school, half loan, half out of pocket. And COVID hit. And now I'm looking at my last quarter of nursing school and I'm realizing I'm not going to be able to graduate. I'm literally out of money. And not because I failed classes or I did something wrong. I did everything right. It's just because I'm poor. I was born poor. I'm still poor. They want me to die poor. I don't know how you guys do it.
Like anyone else, after watching a video, I went down to the comments, and this comment stuck out to me. I don't have the pretension to make a claim for this comment to be objectively right or wrong, and I certainly don't want to be dismissive of this individual's perspective, as this perspective is just as valid as anyone else's. Some may have even thought that this comment was rather encouraging. Some of you may have even held a similar sentiment after reviewing the video. But it may be worth noting where this comment comes from. This comment seems to be rooted from an individual perspective. And our perspectives are derived from our current understanding of our reality based on our lived experience. And sometimes that understanding or that perspective may not be applicable to someone else's human experience, as their experience is just as unique to them as yours is to you. But that's not what really stood out to me in regard to this comment. The most intriguing thing about this particular comment, and others that may be analogous in this position, is the propensity to be critical of the individual, rather than becoming critical of the arrangement of systems that seem to be a direct contributor to her set of circumstances. We don't know the particulars of her situation, what obligations she may have through actions of her own, or obligations that she may have been born into. She has a degree with one in progress on top of regular employment. One could imagine that she has a pretty assiduous schedule. The proposal to obtain employment to exchange more time for more money may not be the most sensible option, especially considering how much time the typical American will spend working throughout the course of their lives. Perhaps that should be examined. It's strange because she seems to have done everything that her society had advertised and promoted to her as a means to success, and yet she still experiences financial hardship. Perhaps that should be examined. It's an interesting comment. It seems to support the narrative that we've embraced this form of hustle culture to where it's completely normal for the typical American to have full-time employment, part-time employment, another side hustle, where we're spending so much time simply earning our dollar to stay afloat. Seemingly in this race with no finish line, where the cost of living outruns the wages earned, it yields an interest to think about the dynamic between us as a society and our economy, how we interact with it. When you go out and complete coursework, expand your knowledge and your overall skill set to become more of an asset to your workforce, when you spruce up that resume and place it on LinkedIn and Indeed, you compete. You compete for a position within our workforce to contribute to our society. And once you get through all of the interviews and you're lucky enough to obtain a position within an organization, there's a new competition that begins. You now compete for a desirable position within that hierarchy, within that organization. And that position directly correlates to your socioeconomic status and your income. And your income is your livelihood. You compete for your livelihood. Perhaps that should be examined. Competition isn't necessarily good or bad. Competition can be an enjoyable experience, especially when engaging in it in a lighthearted manner. However, we should be cognizant of what competition actually is. One of the obvious features of competition is that it has opposing forces, which inherently will have winners and losers. And the winners will win as a direct result of the losers losing. Should our livelihood dwell in the realm of competition? Is it beneficial? May there be a different way where maybe no one has to lose? And this concept is rather evident when analyzing any typical hierarchy of an organization. Typically, the executives and higher ranking members within that hierarchy will be paid a significantly higher amount than those who are direct contributors that may be lower within that organization. So there are many Americans, many of us that work very hard who will probably never have the ability to experience a sense of financial freedom. I could be wrong, but I think for most people, if you were to hit the lottery, I don't think that most people would be excited because they have this very long list of items that they now have the ability to purchase. I think people would be pumped that if they don't want to, they don't have to go to work tomorrow. That's always been an interesting thing. Financial freedom. Did you say money provides a sense of freedom? Well, I ask you, if you need an abundance of money to truly experience freedom, what are you experiencing now? As always, I invite you to be critical, be observant, be aware. I'd like to leave you with a quote from the novelist and philosopher Ayn Rand. For the past 2,000 years, the world has been dominated by other philosophies. Take a look around you. Consider the results.